Hello again, listeners. Jake here. Yes, I am still alive. Before I get distracted, let's look at the upcoming animes for the summer season of 2017. First up, we have the second season of Oewari Monogatari from Shaft, based on the light novels. And the second season of New Game from Dogakobo, based on the 4-comma manga. The first non-sequel we have is still a tie-in to something from earlier. Katsugeki Tokenranbu from Studio UFO Table. The year is 1863 as the tumultuous samurai era is coming to an end. Japan is split between the pro-shogunate and anti-shogunate factions. The fate of the world is threatened as an army of historical revisionists are sent from the future to alter the course of history. In order to bring these forces down and protect the real history, two sword warriors, spirits who are swords brought to life by Saniwa, rush to Edo. The polite and thoughtful Horikawa Kunihiro and the short-tempered yet skilled Izumi no Kami Kanesada, who served the same master, confront the invading army along with a lively gang of other warriors, including Mutsu no Kami Yoshiyuki, Yagen Toshiro, Tombokiri, and Tsurumaru Kuninaga. As the fate of history lies in these heroes' hands, what meets the blade is yet to be uncovered. Next up, from A1 Pictures. Oh boy. We have Fate Apocrypha, based on the light novel that is a far-off distant cousin of the visual novel series Fate's Stay Night. The setting is a parallel world to Fate's Stay Night, where the Greater Grail mysteriously disappeared from Fuyuki after the Third Holy Grail War. After many years of silence around the same time as the Fifth Holy Grail War would have happened, the Yggdrasil Millennia. I'm pretty sure it's a combination of Yggdrasil and Millennia. A family of magi openly declare their secession from the Mages Association, and that they are in possession of the Grail. The association dispatches 50 mages to retrieve it, and all but one are instantly slaughtered by a mysterious servant. The one remaining manages to activate the reserve system of the Greater Grail, allowing for the summoning of 14 servants in total. In the city of Trefas, two factions will fight for the control of the sacred relic, each of them possessing their own team of 7 servants. The Black faction, whose members are part of Yggdrasil, protecting the Grail, and the Red faction, whose members were sent by the Mage Association, trying to take the Grail back. For an event of this scale, the Grail itself summons its own servant, the Holy Ruler, to oversee the conflict. This marks the start of the Great Holy Grail War. Gotta be honest, while I'm looking forward to actually knowing what happens in Fate Apocrypha, the fact that it's from A1 Picture Studios has me a bit worried. Next up, from Naz, based on the manga, Hajimete no Gal. Spring. The season of love has arrived, and it seems that finding himself a girlfriend was harder than Junichi believed. To break the status quo, Junichi's friends have forced him into confessing to the gal, Yame Yukana. However, things do not go quite as he expected. A series of firsts begins. Might be cute, I don't know, I haven't read the manga. Next up, from Studio Mappa, Kakegururi. Hyako Private Academy, an institution for the privileged with a very particular curriculum. You see, when you're the sons and daughters of the wealthiest of the wealthy, it's not athletic prowess or book smarts that keep you ahead. It's reading your opponent, the art of the deal. What better way to hone those skills than with a rigorous curriculum of gambling? At Hyakko Private Academy, the winners live like kings and the losers are put through the ringer. But when Yumiko Jabami enrolls, she's going to teach these kids what a real high roller looks like. Okay, gambling in anime. Hopefully they'll be able to actually write gambling and conflicts well, as opposed to someone just being able to draw all the good cards or get good rolls. Since a lot of shows don't seem to get that gambling comes down to, as it says in the synopsis, reading your opponent. Still, we'll see. From Production IG, Ballroom e Yokozo, or Welcome to the Ballroom. A professional dancer named Sengoku rescues Tatara, an introverted third-year middle school student who's being harassed by delinquents. Tatara ends up in Sengoku's dance studio where he meets Shizuku Hanaoka, a schoolmate he comes to secretly idolize. From this defining moment when Tatara enters the world of dance, Sengoku is a free-spirited, dynamic international dancer who recognizes Tatara's potential and begins to coach him. I'm starting to stumble over the words already. Through dance, Tatara meets another schoolmate, a dance prodigy named Kiyoharo. Through these new friendships, Tatara develops a passionate desire to improve as a dancer and be accepted by his peers and rivals, which nurtures his own native talent. And through interactions with Tatara, other dancer and dance members are encouraged to take steps to overcome their own challenges and issues. So, a sports anime but about ballroom dancing. I can dig it. Oh boy, this one. Next up, from Creators Impact, based on the manga. Ballroom was based on the manga. Netsuzo Trap. NTR. Yuma and Hotora have been friends since childhood, so it's only natural that when Yuma is nervous about her new boyfriend, she asks Hotora for advice. But when Hotora starts coming on to Yuma for what feels like more than just practice, what does it mean? With boyfriends in the foreground but a secret passionate tryst in the background, will Yuma and Hotora try to forget what happened between them, or have they fallen into a trap of true love and betrayal? Isn't that the plot of a hentai? Moving right along. Koi to Uso, from Studio Lightning Films, based on the manga. Or, Love and Lies. Oh dear. King Lord. Lies are forbidden, and love is doubly forbidden. The more I read it hurts more. Lies are forbidden, and love is doubly forbidden. In the near future, when young people in Japan turn 16, they are assigned a marriage partner by the government. Okay. People don't have to go through the trouble of looking for someone, and everyone accepts that the country will find a compatible partner to make them happy. How far in the future do they have to be for them to just accept that this is going to happen? Yukari Nejima is 15 years old. He lives in a small corner of the country and just can't seem to get ahead in life. Both academically and athletically, he's below average, but within him he hides a heart burning with passion. In this world in which love is forbidden, what will happen to him when he falls in love? Kill me. Kill me. Dear God. Let's soldier forward, shall we? Next up, from Pine Jam, based on the light novel, Gamers. This is a story that revolves around certain students and one hobby. Amano Keta is our lonely protagonist who has a passion for gaming and is friends with Urehara Tatsuku, who is secretly a fellow gamer and is someone who believes his life is perfect. We also have Karin Tendo, the club president of the video game club, and Chaiki Hoshinomori, who constantly bickers with Keta. This is a story filled with a non-stop sequence of comedy scenes and misunderstandings. Our chaotic romance comedy now begins. Yeah, I got nothing on that. Oh boy. Okay. Based on the light novel from Production Read, Isekai wa smartphone to tomo ni, or A Different World with a Smartphone. That was me facepalming, because it won't be as good as Konosuba. I can feel it. To Mochizuki was accidentally killed, and as an apology, God allows him to be reborn in a fantasy world and grant him any one wish he desires. And so, Toya chooses to keep his smartphone in the next world. In his second chance at life, he befriends many important figures and comes across the world's secret. He inherits the legacy of an ancient civilization and travels around nonchalantly while possessing powers that rival this world's kings. Why? Because he has a smartphone? How does it still work? If this is a fantasy world, where's the outlets? How does he charge his phone? Where is he getting data service from? There aren't any satellites or phone towers to make it useful. Never mind, you can't call anyone in a fantasy world with your smartphone because no one else has a smartphone. Or a phone in general. Ugh. Like, I complain about the similarities between Re:Zero and Konosuba because they were made in a similar, and with a similar main character, both focusing on trying to lampoon or present these ideas in a different way. But this feels like a, hey, we could do better than Konosuba. Well, okay, no. They're probably not thinking they could do better than Konosuba. Someone probably had an idea of, well, if Konosuba happened to me, I take my smartphone. And just next up from Studio Dean, we have the 4th season of Jigoku Shoujo, or Hell Girl, Yoi no Togi. Next up on the list, from Project Number 9, based on the manga, a supernatural shonen show. Oh boy, that's gonna be exciting. Wow, I'm really not into this today. I'm sorry. From Project Number 9, based on the manga, Jiken no Shihaishi. No, that's not how that word is pronounced. Jiken no Shihaisha, or Chronos Ruler. The story centers on Chronos Rulers, those who fight the time-eating demons that appear when people wish they could turn back time. The Chronos Rulers fight a time-manipulating battle against these demons. Well, that could turn out interesting if they're clever with the effects. Next up, we have from Studio Gokumi, based on the 4-koma manga, Tsurezu Children, a series depicting various scenarios of young love. These stories range from a boy crippled by his absolute lack of confidence in himself, cannot even accept the fact that the girl of his dream actually asked him out on a date, to the near-psychotic girl that pours her own blood into her homemade chocolates in order to win his heart. Okay. Says it's a comedy. What's with the comedic use of yanderes recently? Next up, we have from Studio Zero G, based on the novel Dive! 2 exclamation points. The series revolves around the Mizuki Diving Club, MDC, which is on the verge of closing down after having financial troubles. The club's new coach persuades the club's parent company to stay open on one condition: that the club send one of its members to the next year's Olympics as part of Japan's Olympic team, as opposed to Japan's Paralympic team? I'm sorry, just the wording is a bit odd on that one. Moving right along, footloose and fancy free. We have from Studio 8-Bit, based on the light novel, Knights and Magic. That's Knights possessive, Knight apostrophe S, and magic. A mecha otaku is reincarnated into another world. Oh dear lord. Reincarnated into another world as Anesti Echevarria, also known as Eru. In this world, huge humanoid weapons known as silhouette knights exist. Dreaming of piloting those robots, Eru and his friends Archard Altair and they're siblings. Archid Altair and Adeltard Altair aim to become Night Runners, as opposed to Night Riders. Great, another died and reincarnated fantasy world. Let's not despair. Let's move on. Studio Mappa's next series, based on the manga Shokoku no Altair, or Project Altair. Takhiro Mahmut is a young pasha serving on the divan of the... Why is this anime giving me such hard words? Takeya Stratocracy? The clouds of war are gathering over his country due to the threat of an aggressive empire. With the divan split between warmongers and pacifists, Mahamut begins his quest to keep the peace at any cost. As he finds himself deeper and deeper in the politics of the ancient world, new enemies and allies surface. Who will prevail? What will Mahamut do if war proves to be inevitable? Is this based on historical events? Are they trying to be Arsland? Because you can't be Arsland. Next, from Kinema Citrus, based on the web manga Made in Abyss. The enormous cave system known as the Abyss is the only unexplored place in the world. Nobody knows how deep down goes this titanic pit. Inhabited by strange and wondrous creatures and full of mysterious ancient relics which purpose is unknown to modern man. generations of bold adventurers have been drawn to and by the cryptic depths of the abyss. In the course of time, those bold enough to explore the dangerous pits came to be known as cave raiders. In Osu, the town at the edge of the abyss, there lives a little orphan named Riko, who dreams of becoming a great cave raider as her mother was and solve the great mystery of the pit. One day, exploring the murky depths, she stumbles upon a little boy who turns out to be a robot. And if you're hearing noise in the back, that's because there's a lot of construction going on. My apologies. Next up, from Lerche, Studio Lerche, based on the light novel, we have Yokuzo Jisu Uyoku Shijo Shuji no Koshitsu e TV. And surprisingly, there's no translation of what the that means. Kodo Isuke Senior High School is a leading prestigious school with state-of-the-art facilities where nearly 100% of the students go on to university or find employment. The students have the freedom to wear any hairstyle and bring any personal effects they desire. Kodo Ikuse is a paradise-like school, but the truth is that only the most superior of students receive favorable treatment. Aya no Koji Kiyotake is a student of D class, which is where the student dumps its inferior students in order to ridicule them. For a certain reason, Kiyotake was careless on his entrance examination and was put in D class. After meeting Horikita Suzune and Kushida Kikyo, two other students in his class, Kiyotake's situation begins to change. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling any real interest in that. Moving on from Diomedia, based on the 4-comma manga, Aho Girl. This 4-comma style manga features Yoshiko, a genuinely stupid girl. She can even manage to get all zeros in a multiple choice test. She hangs out at school with her childhood friend, who she claims to like, and he has to put up with all her ridiculous behavior. How can you say she's an Aho girl? I'm not even seeing an Ahoge. Right, let's move on. Silverlink Studio, based on the light novel Isekai Shokudo, or Restaurant to Another World. Let's just push on. Maybe it's not trapped in another world or reincarnated fantasy world. Let's just read the synopsis. At the bottom floor of the building with a dog signpost, in the shopping district near the office street, there lies a cafeteria called Yoshoku no Nekoya that has an illustration of a cat on the door. It's been open for 50 years and has satisfied various salarymen from nearby offices. Despite it being called a Western cuisine cafeteria, it also provides other varieties of menus. For the people of this certain world, it's their one and only special cafe. There is, however, one secret to Nekoya. The cafeteria is closed to the public every Saturday in order to make way for special guests. When a bell rings, customers from different places of birth and race appear who ask for mysterious and delicious dishes. They are actually the same dishes served to the salarymen, but their special guests find them to be more exotic than to what they are used to. As the cafeteria aims to serve masterpieces, it is usually referred to as Isekai Shokudo. And so the bell rings again this week. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Might have some interesting aspects to it. Next up. From Platinum Vision, based on the manga, Sayuki Reload Blast. At last, the Sanzo party has arrived in India. In this foreign land where the anomaly's influence runs rampant, their battle only heightens in their violence. And also awaiting them is their tragic fate from 500 years ago. What will they find at the end of their long, treacherous journey? Which reminds me, I need to catch up on Sayuki. Chain-smoking Sanzo with a 6-shooter? Yeah, I need to catch up on that. Oh, boy. Next up from Studio Dean, an original anime, The Reflection. After The Reflection, some of the people in all parts of the world are discovered with superpowers. Some become heroes and other villains. How did the reflection happen? What was the cause of it? With many unsolved mysteries, the world is led into turmoil. Reflection. Follow that up with, from Encourage Films, based on the manga, Hitorijime My Hero, or My Very Own Hero. The story involving Kensuke's brother, Oshiba Kosuke, and friend, Setagawa Masahiro, from Hitorijime Boyfriend. Oh, it's a spin-off of something. I don't know what that is. Still a lot to go through. Next up from JC staff, based on the novel, Vatican Kiseki Chosakan, or Vatican Miracle Examiner. Vatican City, the Holy Land of Catholics. Amidst the land, there is an organization that conducts rigorous investigation on claims of miracles from all over the world to ascertain their credibility. The organization is referred to as Seito no Za, Assembly of Saints, and the priests that belong there are called miracle investigators. Robert Nicholas, an ancient archive and I don't know why my brain froze on archive there. Robert Nicholas, an ancient archive and cryptanalysis expert, is partnered and good friends with Hiraga Joseph Cole, a genius scientist. Together, the brilliant duo investigate the miracles and uncover the incidents and conspiracies hidden behind them. Not a bad premise, but depending on how they approach it, can be a bit iffy. Next up, from Studio Hibari, based on the manga, Keppeki Danshi, Aoyama-kun. Aoyama-kun is a high school boy who has a fastidious nature, but he is a genius soccer player. Also, they state this as a shocking surprise. But he's a genius soccer player? Why wouldn't he be? He's just fastidious. Whatever. Next up, from Holliner's Animation League, based on the manga, Centaur no Nayami, or Centaur's Worries. Hime-no is a sweet, shy little centaur girl. In her world, everyone seems to be a supernatural creature, and all her classmates have some kind of horn, wings, tails, halos, or other various supernatural body parts. Despite their supernatural elements, Hime-no and her best friends, Nozomi and Kyoko, have a fun and mostly normal daily school life. really thought there was going to be a curveball thrown at us in that description. But there wasn't. Next up, from We Have No Idea because no studio or producers are listed. Oh boy. That's always promising. Nora to Ojo to Nora Neko Hato, or Nora, Princess and Stray Cat. Nora Handa is a boy who lives with Sachi Yuri, who was adopted by his mother. With everyone supporting, the two of them grew up healthily even after their parents passed away. Sachi, who likes Nora the best, wakes him up every morning. Nora spends his happy student life with Michi Kuroki, who is a disciplinary committee, honor student at school and childhood friend of the main character, Yuki Asuhara, who is a gal but is very bright and can talk his worries to, and more friends at school. One day, Nora meets a girl who calls herself Patricia at the park on the way to school. Patricia is a queen at hell and claims to come here to destroy the life on land. However, she is damaged heavily because she touched the life for the first time. Oh, there's the problem! The source of this synopsis is from Amazon Japan, so this is badly translated. The energy was stronger than her, so Nora needed to tend her. Patricia asked him to tell her about the mysteries of life, and he had to even explain the arrow book that he found at the park? Oh boy. Next up, Dogakobo show, based on the card game. Hina Lodi from Luck and Logic. Leonez Yelitstatova, a pure princess from a small country, enters a school in Hokkaido on a spring day. The school is a specialized educational institute operated by ALCA to train logistics who maintain world peace. Leones enters Class S, where she meets many classmates with unique personalities like Nina, a lively and cute everyday life begins now. Following that up from TMS Entertainment, based on the manga, Nanamaru Sanbatsu. As soon as he enters high school, the first-year student, Koshiyama Shiki, was invited to the mysterious quiz study group led by his senpai. What will Shiki run into when being dragged along by his classmate, Mari, into the dazzling world of competitive quizzes? What is hijinks, Alex? That is correct. Next up, we have from Studios Actas and Studio 3 Hertz, a new original series, Princess Principal. The stage is set during the 19th century London, in its capital, where a wall divides the east and west of the kingdom of Albino. 5 high school girls who enroll in the prestigious Queen's Mayfair School are involved in spy activities that involve disguises, infiltration, card chases, and more. These girls take advantage of their special abilities and fly around the shadow world. Okay. Next, from Statelight, we have the 4th series of Senki Zetsho Symphogears, AXZ. Really need to watch the 3rd season of that. Next up, from Silverlink, based on the game, Battlegirl High School Battlegirl Project. Based on Cole Opal's school action role-playing game. Set in the year 2045, the world has been contaminated by Isosu, mysterious invaders who suddenly appeared, and humans find themselves restricted and contained. Stanley boldly against these invaders are ordinary girls everywhere without a powerful army or even weapons. The Shinju Ganine Girls Academy is a school for these Hoshimori, or Star Guardians, destined to fight the Iosu. The player is assigned to this academy to train girls and take back the contaminated Earth, and so, once again, the chimes echo through the stun-strewn schoolyards to make the beginning of class today. Feel like I should have a reaction to that, but I don't. Next up, from Magic Bus, based on the manga, Skoto no Naka wa Kedamono Deshita. Kominami Shizuka is a mild-mannered college student who is having trouble adjusting to city life. One day she meets Kirishima Ryo, another student who projects the image of a cool older sister. The two hit it off, but Shizuka is shocked when Ryo attempts to seduce her. Shizuka initially assumes that Ryo is a lesbian, but Ryo is in fact a man who dresses like a lady. Next up. From Studio Gonzo, based on the game, 18IF. Part of the multimedia project that also includes a mobile game and a virtual reality game. Oh, okay. So it's based on a game that's not out yet. What next? Oh. Another anime from Project Number 9. Based on the light novel, Tenchi no 3P. Kyo Nukui is a first-year high school student, Hikiko Mori. His hobby is making Vocaloid songs and uploading them online. One day he receives a message from a fan asking if they could meet up with him. At the meeting place, 3 elementary school girls were waiting for him. The 3 of them want to form a band and ask for Kyo's help. That wasn't a belch, that was a delayed groan as I processed that this is a high school hikinomori teaming up with 3 elementary school girls. Ew. Next up, from Studio Shine Animation, based on the light novel, Yokai Apartment no Yuga na Nichijo, or Yokai Apartment no... Nope, that's not a translation. I think it translates to everyday life at the yokai apartment. Inaba Yusha's parents died in his first year of middle school, and he moved in with his relatives. Though they did care for him, he could tell he was a burden. After he graduated, he happily prepared to move to a high school with a dormitory. Unfortunately, the dormitory burned to the ground before he could move in. Oof, that is rough. Yushi doesn't want to live with his grudging relatives, but it's rough finding lodging as an orphaned student with low money. He finally finds a room in a nice old building which seems too good to be true. And the catch is that it is a monster house, a place where humans and supernatural creatures, ghosts, mononoke, etc., live together. Another high schooler lives there, a cute girl named Akine, and she's constantly unfazed by the monsters. In fact, she can even exorcise evil spirits. Yushi's high school life just got much more strange than he ever bargained for. Next up, from Studio Pietro, original anime, Konbini Kareshi. 6 high school students' life around the convenience store on their way from school, talking about their life and meeting each of the girls they end up liking. So wait, is it 6 high schoolers who then meet 6 girls, or is it 3 and 3? I imagine I'll learn if I watch. Next from Studio Drop, based on the novel Cleone no Akari. And the story centers around an illness-stricken, constantly bullied orphan girl named Minori. After one rainy day, she doesn't turn up at school, having been admitted into a hospital in a distant town. 2 months pass, and the girl's 2 school friends, Takashi and Kyoko, receive a mysterious email with no sender listed. The email reveals a summer festival taking place at a nearby town. Next up, from Studio Mille Pensi, we have the 9th season of Tekkyu. Jeez, this is going on for a while. It has a devoted fan base. And from Tengu Kobo, we have the 2nd season of Nazo to Kine, Kaito X Ansa, or is that Cross Ansa? We also have from a real sequel series to Urawa no Usagi-chan, Musashino, yeah. Next up, not a sequel, from Madhouse Studios, Marvel Future Avengers. The anime follows Makoto, a young boy who gains supernatural powers due to an evil gene manipulation experiment. Makoto and other youths join the Avengers as apprentices named Future Avengers. The anime will follow Makoto and the others as they train, fight villains, and grow under the Avenger members Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Wasp. Because screw Ant-Man. After that, we have from ILCA, the 5th season of Yami Shibai. And moving right along from there, we have from Production IG, based on the manga, Mahojin Guru Guru, a new adaptation of the manga of the Mahojin Guru Guru franchise. Guru Guru, Guru Guru. Nearing the end here, folks. Nearing the end. Actually, yeah. Last on the list, from Studio Diomedia, original series, Action Heroine Cheerfruits. The local heroine fighter of a certain city becomes popular and a national star. Because of this, local heroines debut in various other places, and their action and lives events become a hit trend nationally. In Hinano City, high school girl Misaki Shiogane and other girls become local heroines at the urging of Misaki's aunt, the prefectural governor, and vow to produce action live events. And that's a look at the upcoming animes for summer 2017. And I feel like I said this the last 2 seasons, but I'm not really feeling a lot of things here. Actually, my brain just tells me that I've been saying that a lot, but I am really not feeling this season of anime. There's nothing that really makes me go, yeah! I mean, even Fate Apocrypha, again, from what I've heard, from people who have read the light novels, while I'm uncomfortable that it's being produced by A1 Pictures Studio, they refer to the light novels as the A1 Pictures of the Fate franchise. That's not a good thing. Anywho, thank you for listening. I'm Jake. This was Reading Too Much Into Things, and I should actually focus on getting the next review out. Thank you for putting up with me. And as always, stay safe.